Now this first question comes from user named Gamma Cap, and they said, so season 1 finale episode begins the Dance of the Dragons? Is that too early? Now this was actually in response to a video that I did where season 2 of House of the Dragon was being discussed, and I mentioned how season 1, according to a plot leak, would end. Now, the Dance of the Dragons is the heart of this story. And if you look at the source material, then you quickly realize this show, there's no way it has enough material to run the same amount of time of Game of Thrones. The main reason being is because the entirety of the events of this story that make for good TV happens in literally a year and some change. Like, it can be expanded somewhat, but for the most part, the way that these character arcs go is that most of them will die, them being the main characters, most of them die at every major battle or event. Like, by the time we get to one of the final events and the final battles of this story, 90% of the cast of this show will be dead. So, of course, it's going to be a shorter run. So, in my opinion, the first season will definitely have to end with something like the dance over Shipbreaker Bay in the Battle above Storm's End. Real quick, special thank you to these individuals, as they are all executive producers and members of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHunsReviews. Basically, that's just my way to directly combat YouTube delisting and making my videos not do as well in their algorithm. Basically, when you search House of the Dragon, my video only pops up for the first few hours of it being released, and for a video to do well, it really needs to show up for the first 24 hours. So if you enjoy my content and you want to give me a few extra dollars a month, consider checking out my Patreon, link down below in the description. Now this next question comes from a user named Robert Rubb, and they said, I swear to God, if I see one woke scene in this show, I'll never watch or buy another George R. Martin product again. He is on very thin ice with me, with his compliance in society's madness. Bro, what the hell are you talking about? What do you, tell me you haven't read the books without actually telling me you haven't read the books. What do you mean? People are overusing that word woke. It's so annoying. Like, I'm officially banning it from my channel. You cannot comment that word in the comment section. If you do, then you're gonna get a stink face emoji from me, okay? Like, what does this even mean? Are you trying to bait me into, like, okay, I'll respond to this. There's going to be woke, quote-unquote, scenes in this show because it's an adaptation, and those woke scenes, for the most part, are in the source material. Like, you heard the feminism thing from the trailer, and I'm assuming that's why you decided to leave this comment, but you gotta understand, feminism has been one of the heavy thematic elements of this story from book fucking 1, which was released all the way back in 1996, August 1st of 1996, and the TV show was not released for adaptation, or at least beginning to be released for adaptation until 10 years later. That whole woke thing didn't exist. This was around before then, so please shut the fuck up if you don't know what you're talking about, buddy. The next comment is from a user named Aegon Targaryen, and they said, another great little podcast. Thanks for all the work you do to keep us entertained. My pleasure. Thank you for watching, because honestly, that's why I do these videos. Is like, I want to get my nerd talk out, but also I like to entertain people. I love seeing comments like this. Also, love your username, man. Now, this next comment comes from a user named Sekbahra. I'm sorry for butchering your name, but they said, nice video. Aside from Dance of Dragons, did you catch up with all of the A Song of Ice and Fire books yet? I would love to go into a discussion with you, even present some theories that you could use for future videos with your audience, with text evidence, of course. To this, I'll say, welcome to the channel. I can tell from the first couple of lines of your comment that you have not seen very many of my videos, but let me inform you right now. I have read every single Song of Ice and Fire book 3 times. I'm currently on my 4th reread of the series entirely, and I'm like well over halfway through A Storm of Swords. So if you have any theories or anything that you think are video worthy, just leave me a comment down below in the comment section, and I'll definitely cover it in a video like this, where I address it directly, or I'll even make a theory about it. Like I said, welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy if you decide to stick around, buddy. Now, the next comment that I want to address or answer in this video is from a user named David Jones, and they say, Mushroom isn't actually an important or necessary character. He's important in the book because he's one of the primary sources, but he doesn't have any direct impact on the narrative at all. He doesn't actually do anything other than be present for major events. You just said what he did. He's present for all of the major events. It's kind of like, even if he doesn't have any lines of dialogue, he still has to be in the show. It's just, it would be a foolish mistake to not include Mushroom. Like, while for the most part he doesn't directly affect the narrative, there are times, according to his version at least, there are times where he for sure is involved in the story. It all depends on which version you believe, but if you believe his version, or some of his version, he definitely plays a key part in the major events, especially since he mentions how he is present with Rhaenyra in King's Landing, and he's one of the few that's able to cheer her father up, right? The same with her brother. After Rhaenyra dies and King Aegon II comes back and takes King's Landing, Mushroom is present, and he's one of the only ones that can cheer him up. And along that same line of thought, Mushroom was often thought to be feeble-minded, so the higher-ups in Westerosi society would talk about their secrets in front of him. That alone is dire to the story. We get to see some of the inner workings and confirmed canon for the show universe through the eyes of Mushrooms. Like he's a character, so we could follow him into a room and maybe we get a conversation with Alicent and her father, Sir Otto, that sheds more light on the Hightower / Grand Maester conspiracy to wipe out the Targaryens. Mushroom is definitely a quintessential part of this story, and if he's not cast in the show, then that's a big mistake in my opinion. Now, the next and last comment that I want to address in this video at least, if you all want more of these, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll definitely cook some more up for you. I love interacting with the community this way. But it's from a user named Zoltan Lackey, and he says, "No one cares anymore. That's the sad truth. I was hung up on these books for years, but now I couldn't care less, especially after the show and how George doesn't care anymore, prioritizing everything else over finishing A Song of Ice and Fire." Now, to be honest, the last part of that comment, that sentiment is kind of becoming more and more widespread. And not about the show and how it ended or anything like that, but just how George seemingly is prioritizing everything else over finishing at least one of the last books in the series, that's The Winds of Winter. Like, it's kind of crazy because we were supposed to get it, and we were almost getting it several times. So I agree. It is crazy that, or it does seem like George doesn't care anymore, but for the most part, you got to realize that he, even though we feel like he owes us a book because we want a conclusion to this story, he actually doesn't owe us shit, and he can do whatever he wants to make himself happy. I'm kind of torn. You all let me know what you think about this comment down below in the comment section. The first part, I obviously massively disagree with. No one cares anymore. That's not true. And you care, Zoltan. Otherwise, why the hell are you watching the Song of Ice and Fire videos on YouTube? It's not a sad truth. What's a sad truth is that you fail to realize that you do actually care. You care enough to leave a comment to me, letting me know how you don't care about a book that no one cares about, apparently. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video and make sure you're subscribed. A super special thank you to the executive producers of these videos, my Patreon family, over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. And if you all watching enjoy my content and want to leave a little extra support monthly, check out the link down below in the description. Or if you don't want to commit to doing a monthly sort of like bill or a monthly charge on your card, you could actually do a one-time donation through PayPal. That's also linked down below in the description. I want to just thank you. If you can't do any of that, I want to thank you so much for watching. That's the best thing that you could do to show support to anyone that you're a fan to here on YouTube. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunts. Along that and risas abusari exos daor.